When we say we live in Portugal, most people think of big white sandy beaches or big bustling cities, but we decided to build our life here in this tiny village.
So what's life like here? Why did we choose this place? And what problems do we face in a village with zero amenities? Let me take you on a little tour of our home here in central Portugal.
So the entrance to our village is just over here. It's a proper village, it has a sign and everything. Beautiful river, it's so peaceful when there's no other sounds other than the river. But in terms of the size of the village, 4 houses. Well, 4 habitable houses. And I'm going to show you those today and show you what it's like to live in this tiny village that may be one of the smallest in Portugal. Steep hills as well, you definitely have a workout every time you leave your house. But now we can do some house counting. So the one here, and then it's just ruins. There's a garage here, and then we come up this very steep hill. And here we have my house, which hopefully you've all seen on the channel. And then this abandoned house with no roof or anything like that. And then one more house here. So literally 4 houses that are in a livable condition. You want to go to the shops? It's a good 20-minute drive to the nearest shop. You want to go to the hospital? It's a good 50 minutes to the nearest hospital. Most people will probably think we're crazy for doing this and buying a house here in the middle of nowhere. But for us, it was a no-brainer. We love the peace, we love the tranquility, we love the animals, and it's just a beautiful place to be. You know, when we've had visitors come here, they just can't believe how isolated we are. And this road that we have here in front of us, it goes to a little tiny town / village. Doesn't even have a cafe. It's about 30 or 40 houses, but it goes around, goes to that village, but then the road the other way also goes to the same village, so it's like a big loop. And what that means is we barely get any traffic here at all. Like, we'll be surprised if you get 1 or 2 cars a day. When we hear a car, we go to the window and we look out and think, oh, who's that? What's going on? There's a car. You know, so it's very different from living anywhere else. Because if there's a car, it normally means it's for us. On this road that goes to that nearest village, there's maybe, I don't know, 10 houses. And most of them are unoccupied most of the year anyway. We are definitely one of the only permanent people to live in this area. So if you don't like pollution, or cars or traffic, then this might just be the place for you, or somewhere like this anyway. So, first of all, let's think about the why have we come to somewhere like this. I've lived in London, I've lived in big cities, in different parts of the world, and once you've done that and you've experienced the nightlife, the cafes, the restaurants, it becomes a little bit boring. I mean, it's a lovely life and it's very convenient and you have everything you could ever want. But it's not until you come somewhere like this and just experience it that you realise what you've really been missing out on. I think the biggest thing for me has been the nature and the animals that we get here. You know, in London you might get the odd fox, etc. But here, I don't know, you just feel like you have a real connection with the deer and the different animals, the foxes and the rabbits. And it's just really beautiful, and you feel like you're living one-on-one with them, you know. It's also great to not always be around other people. I mean, right now there's literally 3 people that live in the village. It fluctuates between 3 and 5 or 6 throughout the year. But it's just nice to not have the pressure of people around you, and all it is you and the rest of the forest, really. And it's just so calm and peaceful. Of course, there are cons, so let's go through some of the cons. Like I mentioned earlier, you are far away from everything. So, like I said, 45-50 minutes to the nearest hospital. There's no food delivery apps or anything like that. The nearest shops and one restaurant is 20-minute drive away. The nearest big supermarket is 30-minute drive away. So these things will affect some people, and for some people that's too much. And I understand that, of course. Some people it's too much, especially if you don't have a car, etc. So I completely understand that. The other thing about being surrounded by trees, especially in Portugal, is of course fires. You would have seen on my videos about 5-6 months ago all the fires we had in the area. We even had to evacuate one time. It was only a precaution, but you never know. We're also speaking to our neighbours recently, and apparently in 2017 there was a fire here. All these trees burned. Miraculously, the houses survived. That's because of a mixture of things. The community are fantastic at creating fire breaks and fire protection, just because they've always had to face it, the locals that live here. So it's important to have a plan if there is a fire, and keep up to date with the local media and the websites, fogos.pt, which is really helpful. Just stay vigilant and stay ready, really, to leave. Another thing that might be difficult for people, especially if you're on your own, is loneliness. Not everyone knows what that feels like, and it's only really until you come somewhere like this that you can really experience it. Now for me personally, that's not a problem. I love being with myself, I love being with Maya, I love being with Max, and obviously my mum as well. So we're happy here. But especially if you're on your own, it would be a very difficult place to be if you did suffer from loneliness, and if you do crave that interaction with people. But for us, it's not a problem. Another con that we weren't really prepared for, to be honest, it's not something you really think about until you're here, is things like deliveries and orders. So for example, if you buy something from Amazon, or if you order something online in a city, it will normally come next day, or in 2 days or something like that. Here our address isn't even on Google Maps. Well, it is now because I put it on Google Maps, but I literally had to go into Google Maps, submit a request to Google to add my address so that delivery drivers can find us. And most of the time they still can't. So I get a phone call or a WhatsApp message or a text saying, "Where are you? Can you send me your location?" And things take a good 4, 5, 6 working days to come. And 90% of the orders get left in the nearest town, which is 30 minutes away. So I had to do an hour's drive just to go and pick up any parcels that are left by delivery drivers, because they can't be bothered to drive to our address. So that one is quite bad, especially if you're used to buying stuff really quickly and used to that modern way of consumerism, I suppose. But again, for us, we've got used to it. It's just normal now. We don't tend to buy that much stuff online anymore. So yeah, it doesn't really affect us too much, and we're just used to the waiting now, really. So I've just walked down from the village in the 4 houses that we have, and you can see some of the history here that must have been here, I don't know how long ago, 50, 60 years. But there's a couple of ruins here. This ruin, it even looks like it used to be here in the road. Maybe the house was sort of here before maybe the road even existed. Maybe there was another road down by the river that came up to these houses. I'm really not sure, but super old. I'm not going to go down there, it's a bit dangerous. But there's a ruin there as well. So there's 3 old houses, ruins. And then that the road just leads off into the forest again and back round to the nearest village to us.
Which style of life do you prefer? Do you prefer the city life, or do you prefer being out in the sticks like us? Let us know in the comments below. But thanks so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.